Good evening. Gentlemen, you have your show. We have a recorded show for you.
Hello and welcome to this North Penn News Update. I'm Lauren Schwartz. It was another spectacular night of music at the annual North Penn Night of Jazz. The 7 North Penn Jazz ensembles were joined on stage by special guest John Swana, who played a selection with each band. The annual event is a culmination of the jazz band competition season. Over at North Penn High School, the spring has been jam-packed with activities, so here we go. The Garden Percussion Ensembles held their annual community night event. The Middle School Guard, Night Vision, and the high school's visual and percussion ensembles all performed their shows to an appreciative crowd. The class of 2016 had a festive time at their junior prom. Over 1,000 dancers in the high school gymnasium gathered for the Great Gatsby-themed party. There were even some antique cars in the house. The Family and Consumer Sciences students took their fashion designs to the runway for their annual fashion show. With the theme, black and white, the students' designs were crisp, clean, and fresh as they strutted their stuff. And finally, the talent was abundant at the student government-sponsored talent show. 24 acts took to the stage, including several bands, duets, trios, spoken word, step groups, and more. Congratulations to winners Sarah Rubenstein and Alyssa Almeida for their guitar and cello duet of Under the Same Sun. That is all for the North Penn News Update. Be sure to go to youtube.com NPTV to see all of our programming 24 hours a day. For North Penn Television, I'm Lauren Schwartz. Have a good night.
Welcome to our regularly scheduled action meeting. This meeting is being videotaped for community cable channels. Individuals attending this meeting and intending to speak to the board should be aware that they are being videotaped. In order to meet the requirements of Pennsylvania's Sunshine Law, it is necessary to record the names of all citizens who speak to the board during the meeting. To assure compliance with this requirement, it is essential that those planning to address the board come to the microphone, state their name and address, and sign the Audience of Citizens logbook. Members of the audience are asked to limit their questions and comments. To allow time for all those who wish to speak to the board president may ask the individual to yield the microphone to the next speaker. And now, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome again. The board did not meet in executive session tonight, so we're going to start with our favorite part of the meeting, which is proclamations and recognitions. So, Dr. Holman.
Thank you. Our first group that we are going to be recognizing are members of the high school wrestling team, and Coach Robert Schätzlein will be introducing them.
I want to thank the board for having and honoring all of these student athletes tonight. What an outstanding night. I think it's just so fabulous. Our first candidate tonight is Colin Shannon. And one thing that's remarkable about him, he's only a sophomore this year. And last year, as a freshman, he did not have a winning record. He wrestled varsity quite a bit, but he did not have a winning record. So what he did over the summer, he had joined 2 travel teams, and the experience that he got just by doing that over the summer, he's wrestling year-round, well, that led him to second place at leagues. He lost to the same person at districts, and he took a second place. At regionals, he took 4th, and he qualified for states. This year, he does have a winning record. His career record is 42-31, and he also placed at the Bethlehem Liberty Wrestling Tournament, which is a top 10 tournament in the country. So our first candidate is Colin Shannon. Second candidate is Sophian Benzmiel. He is a junior. He'll be back with us next year. And Sophian just started wrestling a few years ago, but he's very athletic. This year he won leagues. He took a second at districts. went on to regionals and placed 5th and qualified for states. He has a career record of 64 and 41. Sofian Benzmiel. And our last candidate is Mikey O'Brien. You may have remembered his brother from a couple years back. Mikey, he took a first at leagues, 3rd at districts, and was just out of qualifying for states. He did take a 6th at regionals. He has a career record, and he'll probably be next year's next 100 Win Club winner. He has a career record of 75 and 34. Mikey O'Brien.
Guys, for an opportunity for the full administration and the full board to come congratulate you, please come through. And Mr. Shetzline, would you please join him too at the end?
Yep.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Again.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Well done. Well done. Good job. Well done.
Thank you.
How you doing, Coach? Nice to see you.
Thanks so much.
Please, another round of applause for these guys.
The next group of students that we'll be recognizing are students from the North Penn Girls Swimming and Diving team. They will be recognized by their coach, Mr. Matt Weiser.
Thank you. I would also like to take time to thank the board for taking the time to recognize the girls swimming and diving team this year. This year we placed 1st in the Suburban 1 Continental League Championship. We also won the District 1 PIAA Championship and placed 3rd at the PIAA State Meet. Our first candidate is Amy Bauer. This year, Amy placed 6th in the 200 freestyle and 8th in the 100 freestyle at districts. She was part of the 400 free relay that finished 2nd and part of the winning 200 freestyle relay at districts. She also finished 13th in the 100 freestyle at states, finished in 4th place as part of the 400 freestyle relay, and was part of the gold medal winning 200 freestyle relay. Next, we have Leah Brown. Leah placed 8th this year in the 50 freestyle at districts and was part of the 200 medley relay that finished 2nd at districts and was also part of the 200 freestyle relay that was a gold medal winning team at the district meet. At the state meet, Leah was part of the 200 medley relay that finished 6th and was also part of the gold medal winning 200 freestyle relay at states. Olivia DiStefano, or DiStefano. This year, Olivia placed 3rd in the 50 freestyle and 3rd in the 100 backstroke at the district championships. She was part of the 400 freestyle relay that finished 2nd and was part of the gold medal winning 200 freestyle relay at districts. At the state meet, Olivia placed 9th in the 50 freestyle, 3rd place in the 100 backstroke, was part of the 400 freestyle relay that finished 4th, and also part of the gold medal 200 freestyle relay at the state meet. Kaylin Evans placed 3rd in the 200 freestyle and 3rd in the 100 freestyle at districts, or I'm sorry, the 3rd to 200 freestyle and 3rd in the 100 freestyle at districts. She was part of the 400 freestyle relay that finished 2nd and part of the gold medal winning 200 freestyle relay at districts. At the state meet, Kaylin placed 8th in the 200 freestyle and 15th in the 100 freestyle. She was part of the 400 free relay that finished 4th and was part of the gold medal winning 200 freestyle relay at states. Next, we have Anna Haggerty. Anna was part of our 200 medley relay at the district swimming and diving championships, placing second in that 200 medley relay. And at state, she was part of the 200 medley relay that finished in 6th place. Erin O'Neill placed 8th at the 100 breaststroke this year at districts, was part of the 400 freestyle relay that finished 2nd, and part of the 2nd place 200 medley relay at districts. At the state meet, Erin placed 6th in the 200 medley relay along with her teammates, and was part of the 400 freestyle relay that finished in 4th place. Madison Tanis is a diver. At the district diving championships this year, she placed in 5th. And at the state championships, she finished in 23rd. Marie Jacopino, this year was the District 1 girls diving champion. Marie also finished in 2nd place in the state in the 1-meter diving competition. Last, we have our only freshman, Megan Zartman. This year at the district meet, Megan placed 3rd in the 200 medley relay and 4th in the 100 backstroke. She was part of the 200 medley relay that finished 2nd, and at the state meet, she finished in 9th place in the 100 backstroke, 13th place in the 200 IM, and she was part of the medley relay that finished in 6th place.
I'd like an opportunity for the full administration and the full board to congratulate you. Come on through. And Matt, would you join them at the end? I will. Congratulations again. Congratulations again. Congratulations again. Congratulations again. Thank you. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you. Congratulations. Well done. You'll be back many times, I'm sure. Matt, Rachel did not make it.
Yes, I will absolutely make sure.
Thank you very much. Very much.
Thanks.
Another round of applause for these guys.
Our final group of students being recognized this evening are the students from the boys swimming and diving team, and they will be introduced by their coach, Mr. Jeff Fagish.
Thank you very much. As the boys are walking in here, I just want to say a few quick words. We are being recognized tonight as a program for, again, like the girls, getting first in our league championships. They're the district champions as well. And we got 4th as a program at the PIAA State Swimming and Diving Championships this year. One of the largest teams to ever come through North Penn swimming history. As my brother has stood up here before me, I've got intimate knowledge of this program. I think there's over 90 athletes total for boys and girls combined, which makes us one of the most premier programs in the state. Our first recipient tonight is going to be Ian Bolin-Bittner. He is a diver. He got 1st at the district championships this year and 7th in the 1-meter diving championships at states. Up next is Aiden Daly. He is a freshman. There you go. He got 8th in the 200 freestyle at districts, 3rd in the 500 freestyle, and at states got 22nd in the 500 free. Up next is Brett Else. Brett was one of the members of the champion 200 medley relay. He got 5th in the 200 freestyle, 7th in the 100-yard freestyle, and he was a member of the 400 freestyle yard relay at districts that got 2nd. He got 18th in the 200 free at states and 18th in the 100 free at states. He was also a member of our 400-yard freestyle team that got 3rd. Up next is Harrison Friel. Harrison Friel got 11th in the 200-yard individual medley. He was a member of the 200-yard freestyle relay team that were the champions at districts this year. He also got 7th in the 100 breaststroke at districts. At states, he got 3rd in the 200-yard medley relay, and he was 23rd in the 100 breaststroke. Not here this evening with us is Shane Hennessy. Yeah, he was a member of our district 400-yard freestyle relay team that got 2nd. Up next is Bryce Hoke, another diver for us here. At districts, in the 1-meter diving, Bryce got 3rd. And at states, he was our 5th place finisher at the championships. Up next is Liam Kelly. Liam Kelly, excuse me, was a member of our champion 200-yard medley relay team. He was also the the district champion in the 50 free. He was a member of our 200-yard freestyle relay team that got 1st at districts, and he was 5th in the 100 free at districts. At states, Liam was on our 3rd place 200-yard medley relay team. He got 5th in the 50-yard freestyle, and he was also a member of the 400-yard freestyle relay team that got 3rd at states. Up next is Mike Kern. Mike Kern got 2nd at the 200 freestyle. He was a member of the 200-yard freestyle relay team at districts that were the champions. He got 2nd in the 500 freestyle, and he was a member of the 400 freestyle relay team that got 2nd at districts. At states, Michael got 16th in the 200-yard freestyle, 8th in the 500 free, and he was another member of the 400-yard freestyle relay team that got 3rd at states. Up next is Thomas Contrubus. Thomas Contrubus is a member of our champion 200-yard medley relay team. He's a 2nd place finisher in the 200-yard individual medley. He is the District 1 champion in breaststroke, and he was on the 400 freestyle relay team that also got 2nd. At states, he was on our 200-yard medley relay team that got 3rd. He got 5th in the 200-yard individual medley. He is the school's only state champion in an individual event this year in the 100-yard breaststroke, and he is the 4th member of our 400-yard freestyle relay team that got 3rd at states. They also, I would like to put a side note here, I was a youngster sitting in the bleachers when the 1991 relay team broke the state record and set the school relay record. Those 4 gentlemen in that 400 freestyle relay broke that record this year, which was a milestone for the program. Up next is Quentin Mitchell. Quentin got 4th in the 1-meter diving at districts, and he placed 12th at states in the 1-meter diving. Up next is Cory Smith. Cory Smith was a member of the 200-yard medley relay team that placed 1st. He got 5th in the 200-yard IM, got 5th in the 100-yard breaststroke at districts, and at states, he was a member of the 200-yard medley relay team that got 3rd. He placed 14th in the 200 IM and 8th in the 100-yard backstroke. Up next is Kyle Supko. Kyle Supko placed 7th excuse me, in the 200-yard IM at districts and 8th in the 500 free. At states, he placed 16th in the 200-yard IM. And our final member tonight is Ryan Yoakum. Ryan Yoakum was a member of our 200-yard freestyle relay team at districts that won the district title.
Well done. As an opportunity for the full board of the administration to congratulate each and every of you, would you guys come through? And Jeff, would you join them at the end?
Thank you.
Congratulations again. You know where you go? Yep. Congratulations. Thank you. You know where you're going? Thank you. You know where you're going yet? Congratulations.
Thank you very much. You like that?
Thank you. This is for those who don't show up. Yes. And thank you very much. It's an excellent program. Thank you. Another round of applause for these guys. Please feel free to join your families. Remember, this will be rebroadcast on Channel 28 Comcast and FiOS 29 tomorrow night at 7:30, Monday and Tuesday at 12:30 and 7:30, and also Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. All right, let's move forward with our audience of citizens as everyone exits. Anybody wishing to speak to the board, feel free to step forward, state your name and address, and sign our audience of citizens logbook. All right, we'll move forward with our recommend approval of the minutes of the March 19th, 2015 action meeting and the April 7th, 2015 work session as circulated. Motion by Mr. O'Donnell, second by Mrs. Charnock. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Let's move forward with committee reports, and we'll start with Education, Community, and Policy. Mrs. Charnock.
Thank you, Mr. Shapinsky. The ECP committee met on Monday, April 13th. Agenda items included changes to the 2015-16 academic calendar, summer programs for 2015, and student travel. The 2015-16 school calendar has been revised to reflect the number of teacher workdays in the current NPEA contract. Teacher workdays are calculated by adding the number of teacher in-service days to 180 student days. Because the number of in-service days has changed from 12 to 11, the number of teacher workdays has therefore changed from 192 to 191. During the summer of 2015, 8 programs will be offered. These include a summer school remedial program for grades 7 through 12, reading language arts for students completing grades K through 2, and an ELL program for elementary and secondary students. In addition, classes to help prepare students for the SAT test, as well as Algebra 2 and advanced placement courses will be held. The summer library program will begin July 6th and continue through August 6th. Libraries at Gwen Nor, Culp, and Walton Farm will be open one day each week between 9 a.m. and noon. In addition, a summer internship program, the purpose of which will be to prepare students for their college and career paths, will be offered to qualifying students. Most summer programs are funded by grant money and tuition payments. Also at the meeting, the committee reviewed a recommendation for approximately 300 student members of the North Penn High School Marching Knights to participate in the 2016 Waikiki Holiday Parade in Honolulu, Hawaii. Fundraising efforts are being conducted to fund this trip. Because of the scope of this trip, the request for approval is being submitted earlier than normal and is on the agenda this evening. The next meeting of the ECP committee is May 11th, 2015 at 6:30 p.m. End of report.
Questions of ECP? When is the Honolulu parade?
So 20,
2016?
2016.
Yes, November of 2016 over the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah, that's pretty far in advance.
Yep.
A lot of fundraising. I'm
They,
sure.
yeah, and they have a date by which they have to, if they're going to withdraw,
Right,
they have a
they
date
have
by
to
which they have to
withdraw,
withdraw, and that's this spring.
Gotcha. Any other questions? All right, let's move forward with finance. Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. The update from our meeting on March 30th, 2015. The finance reports were reviewed and with additional discussion on the reports noted. Revenue, expenses, and balance sheet. The end of the year projected balances were reviewed. A decrease in projected revenues was noted due to new taxpayer real estate tax assessment appeals necessitating increased escrow of $750,000. 2014-15 revenues are still projected to exceed budgeted revenues by approximately $1.2 million. The committee recommended modifying this report in the future to remove balance sheet data. The general fund financial reports, year-to-date revenue and expenditure amounts versus budgeted figures are on target with projections. The committee discussed how charter school tuition rates are calculated. The EIT report, earned income tax collections were very high in February and made up for low collections from the previous month. EIT collections should exceed budget, and the business office has budgeted $15 million for the 2015-16 year, which is $1.1 million higher than the current year budget. Enterprise Fund Statement Report. The aquatics, swim team, and water polo programs are now in a surplus situation for the year, as was projected in previous months. The Extended Care Program and School Nutrition Services Program are both showing strong financial performance for the year. Short-term capital projects cash forecast report. With the projects in the pipeline, there remains a balance of $722,000 for future projects. Budgetary reserve report. The business office transferred $2.1 million to the budgetary reserve from the charter school line item, since no new charter schools will be opening during the current fiscal year. I feel like that deserves extra comment. Private school transportation contract. The update proposal received from First Student was reviewed. The committee suggested a 5-year contract with the current fuel share arrangement. 2015-2016 state budget update. Mr. Skrocki provided an update on the proposed budget figures in Governor Wolf's budget. North Penn would receive an increase of $828,000 in the basic education and special education subsidies under the proposal. Also, the district would realize approximately $783,000 in cyber charter savings based on a new proposed tuition rate of $5,590 per student. The business office has budgeted no increase to the state funding numbers mentioned. PA school performance profiles, financial data. Mr. Skrocki presented the available financial data that can be found on the PA Department of Education School Performance Profile website. Items recommended for work session action meetings. Budget transfers are on tonight's agenda for approval. Private school transportation contract will appear on the May action meeting agenda. And our next meeting for the Finance Committee will be held Monday, April 27th, 2015 at 6:30 p.m. End of report. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of Finance this evening? I have one. The $828,000 you mentioned, did that come with any strings, like what happened to us with accountability block grants?
We're not quite sure of that yet. I know Superintendent Dietrich did receive a letter indicating from the Acting Secretary of Education, Rivera, indicating how the districts would spend that additional money, but we were later advised by a subsequent letter not to respond to the letter at this point in time. So right now we have no increase in our basic ed and special ed funding in the 15-16 budget until we receive further information or further indication of what actually will pass.
It's wise, since the last time they did that to us, they promised us a huge increase in accountability block grants that came with all kinds of hurdles that we no longer could apply for. So the increase was not really an increase. It was just a letter with a paper that said, welcome to the card game. And we didn't get anything out of it. That was pretty messy. All right, let's move forward with Safe Schools. Mrs. Leonard.
Thank you, Mr. Shapinsky. The Safe Schools Committee has not met since the last board meeting. The next meeting of the Safe Schools Committee is scheduled for Tuesday, May 5th at 6:30 p.m. at the Educational Services Center. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Safe Schools tonight? 6:30? 6:30. All right. I have personnel tonight. Personnel Committee met in executive session on April 7th, 2015 from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. to discuss matters of personnel and potential litigation. Support services tonight is Mr. Sullivan.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I missed an opportunity in the Finance Committee report. I thought I heard nutritional services enterprise account is financially
that's right.
Healthy? They're having a very positive year this year, yes. They've dramatically increased revenues, especially in the type A lunch meals. They've seen a reduction in the a la carte meals, but as a result of the increase in the type A meals, they've seen a pretty substantial increase in the state and federal subsidies. Yeah, that's a complete turnaround from the previous 2 years where they were in a negative
monetary, income situation. So my hat's off to Penn, the Director of Nutritional Services, did a really good job turning that around. Support services, we have not met since our last board meeting. The next support services meeting is scheduled for Monday, April 27th at 6:30 p.m. at the Education Service Center. End of report.
Thank you. North Penn Education Foundation, Mrs. Leonard.
Thank you. I have this one as well, filling in for Carolyn tonight. The bulk of this month's meeting was spent discussing Night at the Hatfield Auto Museum, which is being held in 1 month on Saturday, May 16th. Tickets are selling quickly to this fundraising event, which is sure to be a great time, so I encourage everyone to get their tickets now. The evening will feature basket raffles, a 50-50, slot car races, entertainment, great food, and drinks. Tickets are only $30, and the party is from 5 to 9 p.m. Leading up to the night at the museum, we will also hold our second annual online silent auction. Just like last year, it will feature one-of-a-kind North Penn experiences like a birthday party at the North Penn High School swimming pool and lunch with your principal. But new this year, we are adding high-quality general items like timeshare stays and restaurant gift certificates. The online auction will be held from May 5th to May 15th. In other news, the Foundation is seeking grant applications for the 2015-2016 school year. A budget of $15,000 was approved at last week's meeting to support these grants, which are just half of what we will fund next year since we also fund mid-year grants. Speaking of grants, last weekend, the Foundation supported a wonderful community event called Math Midway to Go. More than 100 children came out to learn about math from New York City's Math Museum, who set up a mini museum at Pembroke Middle School. A survey of both parents and students that day show it was a great success. Students learned about math in a fun, hands-on way. In particular, I want to thank Louise Kirsch, the school district's elementary math coach, for applying for the grant to fund Math Midway to Go and its great implementation. Any questions about the foundation can be directed to Christine Liberaski at the ESC. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the foundation tonight? All right, let's move forward with North Monco Technical Career Center. Mr. Sullivan.
Hi. Thank you. We have not met since our last Action Committee meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, April 20th at 7 p.m. at the North Monco Technical Career Center. End of report.
Thank you. The Montgomery County Intermediate Unit, you have that too, Ms. Leonard?
I believe the report was submitted, but it didn't make it to today's table, so I have no report.
Okay,
but thank you.
That's fine. All right. Let's move forward with our superintendent report. Dr. Holden.
Thank you. Recommend approval of amended board policy number 6121, curricular activities, board policy number 6179, extracurricular participation by private school students, board policy number 6180, extracurricular participation by home education students, and board policy number 6181, extracurricular participation by charter or cyber charter school students, per item number 1615, letters A through G.
Motion by Mrs. Leonard. Second by Mrs. Charnock. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Recommend approval of agreements for tuition in lieu of free and appropriate education for students number 041615-1 and number 041615-2, whose names are on file in the Office of the Superintendent.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sullivan. Second by Mrs. Leonard. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved.
Recommend approval for adoption of textbooks as listed per item number 21-15.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Brown, second by Mr. O'Donnell. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry.
Recommend approval of the resolution regarding the corrective action plan for the state audit report for years ended June 30th, 2012, 2011, 2010, and 2009, issued by the Department of the Auditor General, per item number BA-4, letters A through C.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell, second by Mr. Brown. Comments or questions?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry.
Recommend approval of 8 summer school programs for 2015 as listed per item number 23-15, letters A through E.
Motion by Mr. Charnock,
Second.
second by Mr. Sullivan. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry.
Recommend approval of the revised 2015-2016 school calendar and Act 80 days per item number 24-15, letters A through B.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sullivan, second by Mrs. Charnock. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Recommend approval of the medical program participation agreement with the Southeastern Pennsylvania Schools Trust per item number BA-5, letters A through B.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sullivan, second by Mr. Brown. Comments or questions? Once again, we save money with CPAST.
That's correct. And just as a side note, this is the exact same agreement that we're currently in for the 2014-15 year. The only thing that changed in this agreement is the date. It's the same $1 per member fee as exists now.
Way to go. All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved.
Recommend approval of the resolution urging the General Assembly to establish a new funding formula for basic education per item number BA-6.
Wait, hold up for a second. I want to have just a question, just a clarification and understanding.
Which one? H?
H.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Let's get a motion on the floor first.
Sorry.
I have a motion by Mr. O'Donnell. You want to second it?
Seconded.
All right, let's talk.
I want to understand, this is about putting a formula in place, correct? This is not about...
This is urging them to come up with a new funding formula.
Okay.
That reflects something hopefully similar to what it was, which would have given us more money than it did the way they did when they reshuffled the deck. That's why I keep using that card analogy, because that's what the state did to us. We had a formula that was being used, they abandoned it because they knew they could not fund it for everybody.
Well, the concern I have was when hearing it explained, it sounded like the funding that was already going to the schools that may have lost a per capita count of students in that in that body, that they wouldn't actually be losing funding.
They don't know that. That was the hold harmless provision that some state lawmakers say they want to protect those who have benefited from an unbalanced formula.
Which is irrelevant to the question at the table, which is we just need an equation to monitor.
We need some basic education formula that we now can depend on moving forward instead of them taking a dart and throwing it at the wall to see what we're going to get.
Appreciate the clarity. It's a lot easier to support that way.
But
yeah.
You're right. The hold harmless provision can help and hurt, depending on who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved.
Recommend approval of North Penn School District resident tuition-free 40 school days maximum for student number 041615-3, whose name is on file in the office of the superintendent.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sullivan. I need a second. Second by Mr. Brown. Comments or questions?
Yes.
Here it comes.
Normally it's free for the year.
Normally, when we have this kind of a tuition agreement, it is either because a student is moving in or moving out of the district, which is why there's the 40-day limit. So it gives, for instance, at this time of year, a student may move out of the district and the parents wish to have the child finish the year with us rather than transferring to a new district in April. Our board policy says that we will approve that kind of a tuition agreement for not to exceed 40 days to allow for that transition time.
Thank you.
But am I wrong that there's 43 days left in the school year?
There may be. I'm not sure. I would have to look.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we count.
Not that you're
we have
counting,
a
right?
big billboard where I am that has the numbers on for the kids.
Rock, there's 43.
Maybe at Castle Rock. Yep.
All right. And by the way, that is kind of beneficial to the kids. If you don't realize this,
Right.
if they leave the district, they won't get credit for what they've done here without. So there's a certain point you want to leave to get credit so the kids don't get harmed. That's why they do this. All right. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Recommend acceptance of the following gifts to the district as listed.
Motion by Mrs. Charnock. I heard somebody say it over here.
Second.
Seconded by Mr.
He did
Brown.
now.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Say thank you, though. It's worth money, man. That's absolutely right. That's definitely.
And Vince, as John Schilling would say, make sure we thank him.
Yeah, and then some.
Recommend approval of bids per item number BA-7, letters A through E, as listed.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell. Second by Mr. Brown. Comments or questions?
I had a comment on the bid to for removal of the modulars. I would have thought that would have been part of the bid when we first got the modulars. I didn't understand why that was separate.
We saw them.
It was a separate contract. It was not included with the modular installation, so this was bid out as a separate agreement.
You talking about the Penfield stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You want me to tell you why they didn't include it with the bid?
Yes.
I can tell you, because I asked the same question to John a couple of months ago. It's because they didn't know if this project ran into any delays, severe weather, whatever else could possibly delay the cleaning. They didn't want to have somebody standing around with a contract in their hand saying, we're hauling them away when you need them. That's why. That's why it got delayed. I asked the same exact question last month. All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved.
This is the superintendent's report. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, are we done? We got still over here. What's the page?
Oh, I'm sorry. What am I
We
doing?
got personnel.
I'm sorry, I'm a newbie.
Let's keep
All
rocking,
right.
rocking and rolling here.
Recommend approval of the personnel items as listed.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell.
Second.
Second by Mr. Sullivan. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved.
Recommend approval of student travel per item BA-11.
Motion by Mrs. Leonard,
Second.
seconded by Mrs. Charnock. Comments or questions?
Can I go?
Where you want to go?
Volunteer to be one of the chaperones, and
I want to be a
there you
chaperone.
go.
Do you have your 3 clearances?
Absolutely.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved.
Recommend approval of contracts per item BA-12, copies of which are on file in the Office of Business Administration.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sullivan,
Second.
second by Mr. O'Donnell. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
This now ends the superintendent's
Thank you.
report.
Let's,
Yes.
well done, that's right. Let's move forward with our finance report. Mr. Skrocki.
Thank you, Mr. President. This report is for the month of March 2015. A balance and cash investment through, through the period of March 2015. Let me start over.
Yeah, treasurer's report.
Yes.
Let's go with the treasurer's report.
I have incorrect highlights in my report. Yes, so this is the treasurer's report through March 2015. So cash receipts for March were $7,599,464.93. And disbursements for the same period were $20,989,892.92, leaving the district with total available funds through the end of March of $100,379,069.16. End of report.
Thank you. Let's move forward with sanction and approval of invoices.
I recommend ratification of disbursements for the month of March 2015 in the amount of $25,167,167.02.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. O'Donnell, second by Mr. Brown. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry.
I recommend approval of the March 2015 budget transfers in the amount of $50,256.94 per item BA-13.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sullivan, second by Mr. Brown. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Let's move forward with federal, state grants and other programs. Dr. Holden?
No report this evening, thank you.
No report. Other business by the board?
Just
Motion. Oh, go ahead.
wanted to say that Dr. Dietrich isn't taking the night off. He's at a consortium with the superintendent, other superintendents and the,
No, isn't he with a ball player? What's the guy's name? Rivera? Who is it? They're having a speaker tonight. That's why I
That's
know
the
what it
acting,
is.
the acting secretary of education.
Is that
His name is
it?
Pedro
He's the
Rivera,
He's a ball
yes.
player. Well, he kicks around our.
So I just
money.
wanted to bring that out, but I really appreciated the job that Dr.
Yes,
Holden
thank
did,
you.
and it was really good, and, yeah, nice.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Done.